In terms of marketing and promotion, how do you interact with your, quote, audience?
I think that's as important as anything at this point. I think if you're a director like me, you're an indie director, you don't have a big resume, nobody knows who the hell you are, to get on Twitter, to start talking to people, talking about your story, talking about the making of your story, is part of your job. If you want to be one of those people that's just like, well, I make films and then people watch them and then I'm going to go make more films, you're just making a mistake and you're kind of a dick. Because if you're not talking to your audience at this point in history, you're losing out, A, on a gigantic opportunity. Like, didn't you want to tell stories to people? Who the fuck do you think those people are? They're your audience. They're on Twitter. They'll say hi. You can say hi to them. That's important. And also keep in mind, Kevin Smith has this giant audience and Edward Burns has their giant audience that they've been building for pushing 20 years, 15 years. They started somewhere. So Vampire Mob has 4,000 something followers. We started with 0. I talk to people all over the world every single day. It's part of the job, it's part of what I do, and I also really like talking to people all over the world. It's really interesting to, you know, say good night, good morning when the time zones are whatever they are, to hear what somebody in South Africa thinks of your show, or Australia, or Romania, the UK, Germany, Italy. I've had audience members help translate the show into French. The whole first season is in French and German because people volunteered to translate it. People helped me do closed captioning. The thing with doing stuff online now, if you're not on Twitter and Facebook, I think it's part of the job, and I think that if you're talking to your, I say audience member more than fans because it changes the dynamic, because they just watch the show. They're not fans, they just watch the show and they like what you do. Hearing what they like, why they like it, hearing the responses. Now that I'm writing other seasons, hearing who they'd like to see more of. I'm not saying that they tell me what to do and I go do it, but hearing, like, they wanted to see more of Shyla, the dog, from the first season and the second season. So we had more of Shyla. That was something that was definitely for the audience, but to have, again, to have people say your show affected my life or entertained me or helped me get through a hard time, that's the only way you're going to hear that. And it's not that test group audience thing, it's you're a human being who tells stories, they're human beings who do whatever they do and enjoy your story. Why not talk? Why would you not talk to those people? I think it's a huge missed opportunity, and even if you're an indie person who's looking to go big time or whatever, having an audience doing whatever you're doing is always good. Why would that ever be bad? And yes, it takes time, but if you're not investing that time, then I don't know, then who watches your show? Because, you know, I only make the story part of the year. The rest of the time I don't have anything to talk about. We're talking about the weather and coffee and the holidays and whatever comes up. But you begin to, like, I now like know names of people's kids and who has kids and that kind of thing, and it becomes part of your life and part of the process, and, you know, beyond just, I have a new show, look at it. You can only do that so much. You can only go, look at me, please retweet, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. No, shut up, you've been saying the same thing over and over and over again. Part of it's, you know, part of it's kind of like if you're an author and you do a book signing, it's like you're doing a book signing all the time, 7 days a week. You're always talking to people, you're always interacting with people, and building an audience from 0 to, like I said, we're now at 4,000 followers. Whatever that translates into views or fundraising, and that's the other part of it. If you're not on Twitter and you want to fundraise something, you're not going to succeed. Unless you have some really famous person that's just going to spike the interest of that, it's just hard work, and I think most of it's done on Twitter, more so than Facebook.
I notice sometimes you send out email newsletter updates, which is great. And do you find that people also respond to that as well, since it seems like more people are on Facebook and Twitter now?
I find more from Twitter than anything.
Really?
Yeah, more than Facebook and more than email. Yeah, the emails I don't do too often because it just feels spammy, but even looking at the, you know, the report you get, the response to it is not that huge. I mean, it's just to kind of let people know when something big happens is the way I where something little happens, or just keeping people up to date. But Twitter is really it's very, you know, it's not even official as a blog. It's almost throwaway. It's almost like you type it and it goes away and it disappears into the chum of Twitter. But yeah, I think Twitter's the most important part, I think. At least now, that'll change. Remember MySpace and Friendster?
Right. Interesting. It'll be Quora.
Yeah, or Pinterest maybe a little bit, yeah.